You just go by Alec, right?
Like little trucker hat.
Little trucker hat?
Yeah, or Alex So. They do Alex So. It's more for yours. Like I have like 3 DJ names. You do Alex So. It's more like in general. Just name all of them. Yeah.
Name all of them? Just go down the list? I don't know, there's dudes everywhere.
I have one called Sex Boy.
Alright, let's get it. What's going on, Faded Culture? My name is Adrian Barone. We got my homie Alex So here on the chair. Today we're gonna be giving him a mid drop fade, and as for the top, we're just gonna go ahead and add a little bit of texture and leave the length on it. Guys, if y'all haven't already checked out our store, fadedculture.co, we did drop some new items. Feel free to check that out. It will be linked down in the description below. With that said, guys, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already, and let's jump right into it. Alright guys, I specifically wanted my buddy to come in with dyed hair so I could run y'all down my steps on how I approach clients that come in with dyed hair. We're gonna start with the clipper, no guard, lever completely closed. And just to remind y'all guys, all the steps will be in the description down below in case y'all wanna follow along that way. And right off the bat guys, I did wanna mention that my clippers are zero gapped. I highly suggest you do zero gap yours as well. There is a video down below in the description on how we do it, so feel free to check that out. We're starting this mid drop fade right under that temple peak area, and we're slightly dropping it as we approach the occipital bone. Make sure that your guideline ends up at that same temple peak area on the opposite side. As for the next guideline guys, we're gonna open up the lever completely, and notice my flick out motion here. I'm taking it very easy with the wrist, let the clipper do all the work, and each guideline is separated about a finger's width, just so you know. And just keep in mind guys to make sure that your guidelines are running parallel to one and another. For the next step guys, I'm using that number 1 guard, lever fully open, and I'm continuing that process, taking it up about a finger's width. Do not get lost in the guidelines guys. This is why I specifically wanted him to come in with dyed hair, because I know it is tricky, but it is something that we do see pretty often in the barbershop. It just requires a lot of patience and a lot of just paying attention to where you're setting in your guidelines. Now with my number 2 guard lever still completely open, we're gonna go ahead and continue that process. Notice as I'm cleaning up the canvas, the lever stays open. All that changes are the guards. We're done setting in a few guidelines. We got about 2 more left, but now just notice that I'm switching my brush up for a comb. So once I get to these higher guards, I like to use a comb to then reset the hair and go over it as many times as you need. So now with my 3 guard lever completely open, we're just gonna go ahead and keep continuing that process. Make sure that you are flicking out as you approach that parietal ridge guys. And this will be the last guard that I'll be using, which is a number 4. It's more of basically just, it's the last touch-ups connecting the sides to the top. I want y'all to pay attention to the flick out motion that I'm doing here. I'm coming in and straight out from the head. Like I said, this is the last guard. So to finish connecting the sides to the top, we're gonna use my thinning shears. Of course, using our very own Faded Culture thinning shears. It does come with the set guys. You can find them at fadedculture.co. And this is just to remove some of that bulk that we have. And guys, all the steps to this tutorial are in the description below. Just a reminder. By now you should have the first guideline that we created with the lever closed, second that we created with the lever open, and third that we created with the number 1 guard, lever completely open. The 2 should have blended right into that 3 if you were easy with the wrist. As for these guidelines, we're starting with the very top one and working our way down. Using my 1.5 guard, I'm going to close that lever just slightly. putting it into a 3/4 position. It's basically somewhere in between halfway and fully open. Now for the second guideline coming down, I'm going to use my half guard, and I'm leaving the lever in that 3/4 position. And guys, all heads ain't the same. Feel free to tweak the lever just slightly if you need to. Do not get stuck on those lever positions. I use them as a rule of thumb. Now to remove that faint line that the half guard created, we're going to come in with the one guard and starting again with the lever at 3/4 position. As for the last line, guys, the initial guideline that we set in, it's going to take a 3-step process, starting with the lever completely closed. Take that just up a tad bit, and then we're going to open up the lever halfway, take that up a bit, and finish it off with opening up the lever completely, using mainly the corners of the clipper when I do open up the lever completely, just to get into those tighter areas, but yet holding me back from taking up the fade higher than I need to. And just go ahead and focus on one side of the head at a time when it comes to this last line. Again, guys, it is very difficult to see the guidelines with colored hair, but just keep practicing it. You will get the hang of it. Do not get discouraged. If you have any question, guys, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Now using my trimmer in a forward position to get that much closer to the scalp, and go ahead and turn your trimmer around, remove that faint line that created, and by using our trimmer in that forward position to begin with, it's gonna leave a distinct line from that bottom hair to the fade, and now we know exactly how high up to take the electric shaver. Again, guys, make sure that y'all do check out that video on how we zero gap our clippers and trimmers. You want to make sure that your trimmers are not scratching. And to finish it off, guys, we're going to come in with our electric shaver. As you can see, I'm using my electric shaver in a normal position, but as I approach that faint line, I turn it around and use it as if it was a clipper, starting to flick out as I get to the top, and then start using mainly the corners of that electric shaver. As for the beard, guys, it's that same 3-step process, but now we're basically coming in backwards, starting with the lever all the way open, then close it halfway, and finish it off with the lever completely closed. We're pretty much done with the fade, blended in the beard as well. Now, as for the top, I'm gonna be using, of course, our very own Faded Culture shears that you can find at fadedculture.co. And we're gonna go ahead and add texture to the top by point cutting. Starting from one side, working my way to the other, and then grabbing small sections at a time and begin working your way back. It's a very simple yet effective technique to add texture, guys. Here I like to just tease the hair so I can get a feel for how much texture I added, and sometimes I do go back in and add a little bit more, or just come in steeper with my shears. As for the neckline, guys, I start about a finger's width from the Adam's apple, start in the center and work your way to one side. And before you approach the opposite side, recalibrate from the center, then work your way to the side, just to make sure that you're going even. Here, applying a little bit of shave gel, and you always want to start your razor work with the thickest areas. Here I'm going to begin with the mustache, and reason being is because your blade is basically new, and you want to use that sharpness where it's going to be most needed. Always using your opposite hand to help extend the skin to ensure a softer, smoother shave. And then when it comes to the beard, always view your client from the front just to make sure that the beard line aligns on both sides. While the hair is slightly damp, I like to come in and add my product. Here I'm adding a little bit of matte clay and just work it from the grain all the way up. And to help bring that texture out just a bit more, I add a little bit of texturizing powder. Then I come in with my blow dryer on high heat, really work the style, and once you're done getting your client to its desired style, you're going to want to put your blow dryer on the cool shot and close that cuticle, lock in the style. And here's where you can add a little bit of hairspray if you like, just to really lock it all in. Here's the before, guys, in case y'all forgot. We did a mid bald drop fade, added some point cutting to the top. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial, guys. I hope y'all took something new. Let us know down in the comments below anything that y'all would like to see on this channel. As always, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Till next time, peace.